Anakin Skywalker was once the greatest Jedi Knight in the galaxy, but ultimately turned to the dark side for the love of his secret wife, Padme Amidala. From the beginning of Anakin's training as a Jedi, Obi-Wan Kenobi was by his side and certainly knew more than he ever stated, and may have even known about their relationship long before Revenge of the Sith, but chose to never say anything. In fact, Obi-Wan's silence on the issue may have even served as a catalyst for Anakin's fall to the dark side. As far back as Episode 2, Obi-Wan knew about Anakin's feelings for Padme. Anakin openly admits that being around her again is intoxicating, but Obi-Wan dismisses the infatuation and tells him to not go against the Jedi and that the feelings may even pass. But Obi-Wan is concerned and even expresses worry about Anakin and Padme being sent to Naboo alone together. Finally, at the end of Attack of the Clones, Anakin nearly abandons the chase for Count Dooku to save Padme after she falls from the troop transport, and Obi-Wan has to threaten him with expulsion from the Jedi Order if he is to go after her. Now, Obi-Wan is a pretty smart guy, and it doesn't take a Gungan to realize that Anakin had feelings for Padme. I believe Obi-Wan's suspicion only grew as the Clone Wars progressed. By Season 6 of Clone Wars, Anakin and Padme's relationship woes were becoming the talk of the temple after Padme's ex, Clovis, hits on her and incurs the wrath of Anakin, which leads to a big fight between the two men. After the showdown, Obi-Wan comes to visit Anakin in his room at the Jedi Temple to tell Anakin that he must remain friends with Padme and nothing more. Obi-Wan even recounts his relationship with Duchess Satine and how he left her for the Order, and says that Anakin must allow Padme and Clovis' relationship to continue. But it's important to note that Obi-Wan stops short of accusing Anakin of already having a relationship with Padme. It's here that I think history hits a significant speed bump. Obi-Wan suspected that something more was happening between Padme and Anakin, and he needed to bring it up, but Obi-Wan was probably too scared. This was his best friend after all, and as much as Obi-Wan wanted Anakin to end the relationship, he also knew that if Anakin were forced to make the decision between Padme and the Jedi Order, Anakin would choose Padme. Obi-Wan didn't want to lose Anakin, so in a sense, Obi-Wan was just as guilty of attachment as anyone. On a side note, I think that if Qui-Gon were to have trained Anakin, he definitely would have talked with Anakin point blank about Padme. Now I'm gonna put a link at the end of this video for a video where I talk exactly about that. But back to Obi-Wan. His concern for Anakin and Padme's relationship continues into Revenge of the Sith when he stops by Padme's apartment to ask about Anakin, because, in her own words, she was worried about him. Why would a Jedi ask a senator about how his best friend is doing? Shouldn't he know better than her? She would only know better if their relationship was much more than professional, so Obi-Wan had to know something was up. Finally, after Anakin has turned to the dark side, he goes to Padme to ask where Anakin has gone. When she doesn't give in, he turns to leave and says, "Anakin is the father, isn't he? I'm so sorry." This was far from an out-of-the-blue question. I mean, it's merely the first time that he's admitted to himself out loud that Anakin was far from the Jedi that Obi-Wan desired him to be. I mean, he point-blank just says, you guys are together and you're having his kid. So now is the big question. If Anakin turned to the dark side for Padme, could his fall have been stopped if Obi-Wan had stepped up to help him? Kind of like what I believe Qui-Gon would have done, as Qui-Gon did indeed have a love interest of his own way back before we even saw him in The Phantom Menace. And I want you guys to stay tuned for that video that's coming up because it's canon and it's pretty interesting. Padme even suggests this on Mustafar to Anakin, but Anakin rejects it flat out. Would Obi-Wan have helped his friend to overcome the problem? Or do you think he would have reported him to the council? In short, who was Obi-Wan's loyalty to? I think he knew enough about the relationship and was therefore loyal to Anakin to a fault. But what do you think? Let me know down in the comments below, and hit like on this video if you enjoyed it. Until the next one, remember, the Force will be with you, always.